Thank you for joining this short training on how to administer the Torrance test. I am Lisa Reniger, the Coordinator for Gifted Education. My contact information is on the screen. You may pause this training at any time if needed. You will also see the PDF version of this training with the narration notes within the Torrance tab of the Live Binder. You can download that packet as a reference. The campus GAT liaisons will be conducting Torrance testing in 25-26. This is our test for creative and divergent thinking as part of our gifted case study process. This short training will explain how to administer the Torrance test, which is a short, paper-based assessment. In this training, we will discuss what the Torrance test measures and the timeline for administration. We will look at how to fill out the test booklets and how to conduct each of the 3 test activities. We will also talk about how to return the booklets to have them scored, what results look like, and how the Torrance is measured on the Gifted Identification Matrix. The Torrance test is used to measure creative and divergent thinking as part of our gifted case study. Creative and divergent thinking is one of the areas of giftedness served by New Mexico, so the Torrance test is our primary way of measuring this area. What is creative and divergent thinking? It is generating multiple ideas from one initial idea, or it's like brainstorming. Creative thinkers can generate multiple ideas covering many different pathways, things that most people couldn't think of. Creative or divergent thinkers can find many unique ways to approach problems that wouldn't occur to most people. They have strong imaginations and think differently from most people. The Torrance test measures 13 sub-areas within creative or divergent thinking, merging them into a single score called the Creativity Index, which can then be compared to others of the same age. The GAT liaison will administer the Torrance test in 2025-2026, not the diagnostician. The diagnostician will instead focus on 4 other tested areas to include general intellectual ability, nonverbal intellectual ability, and specific aptitude or achievement in math and reading. To follow our timeline for the 25-26 school year, the GAT liaison will plan ahead and schedule Torrance testing during a 2-week timeline, which is October 17th through 31st, 2025. Torrance tests will not be administered outside this window, so planning ahead is a must. The primary thing we are trying to improve in our gifted program this year is the length of time and inefficiency of our former gifted identification process. By adhering to the newly established timelines, we are ensuring that this process is streamlined and takes much less time than before. For the Torrance, students can be tested in a group, with all ages and grade levels testing together. This ensures that testing will take 1 hour of one morning within this 2-week time frame. Students who are absent must make up the test by October 31st, so it's wise to test early within the window to allow adequate time for makeups. The booklet you see on the left side of the screen is what the Torrance test looks like. They are paper booklets with a pink cover. Based on the number of referrals counted after the referral window ends in September 2025, the Coordinator for Gifted Education will deliver the needed number of Torrance booklets to the campus. The Torrance tests will be shipped out for professional scoring. To ensure they are scored, the scoring service requires the cover to have proper identifying information filled out. At the top, the student will print their last name and first name in the small boxes, then bubble in the letters below. This must be done with a number 2 pencil. In the middle, the student will bubble in their gender, print and bubble in their grade level, and their age. At the bottom, the student will print the school's name and the date of testing. Although there is no designated space for it, please add the student ID number on the bottom. We have many students who share the same names, so this is necessary to add. If any of this information is missing when the booklets are collected, they will be returned to the GAT liaison for corrections, delaying their scoring. When administering the Torrance test, consider the security used for state testing. Students must sit spaced apart, may not look at others' tests, may not talk, and may not use electronic devices. The test takes 30 to 45 minutes in total to administer. Plan on 1 hour total to allow for getting everyone seated and distributing materials. It's best to test in the morning, if possible, when students are not yet overtired. All nominees can test together as a group. All ages and grade levels can test together. If your group is larger than 10, please have a second proctor join you to assist with monitoring. If you have Spanish speakers, we do not have a Spanish Torrance. You or another proctor will translate the test directions to the Spanish-speaking student. Only the directions would need to be translated. Students in grades Kinder through 2nd will need more help with filling out the front and may need the proctor to do it for them. You may repeat or rephrase the directions for the younger students, but do not give additional ideas or make suggestions. The proctor may not critique the student's work or give suggestions on how to make their work more creative. Do not allow students to view one another's tests or compare their ideas. Activity 1 is used to teach the students what they will do in Activity 2. Students will turn to page 2. Read the directions for the activity and ask for clarification. I will read the directions on the left side of the screen. This activity is called picture construction. On the opposite page is a curved shape. Think of a picture or an object which you can draw with this shape as a part. Try to think of a picture that no one else will think of. Keep adding new ideas to your first idea to make it tell as interesting and as exciting a story as you can. When you have completed your picture, think up a name or title for it and write it at the bottom of the page in the space provided. Make your title as clever and unusual as possible. Use it to help tell your story. Ask students to look at the figure on page 3 of the booklet, which you see on the right side of the screen. It's an oval shaded figure. They are to draw something new and interesting, which has this oval figure as part of what they draw. Let's say the student adds eyes to the oval and titles it Mr. Egg. That's not very interesting, and the figure already looks like an egg. This is not unique. Let's say the student makes the oval shape the hole in the ground to an underground world on another planet and draws many details around the figure to illustrate the new planet's landscape. The student names their drawing Entering Planet Velmora. This idea is more creative and unique and would score higher points. Give students enough time to complete Activity 1. Have them close their booklets when finished. Walk around and ask for any clarification. When everyone is finished, proceed to Activity 2. Activity 2 has 10 more drawings to complete similar to Activity 1, but the initial figures are different. The example at the top shows 2 figures that the student will incorporate into something new. The students will reopen their test booklets and go to page 4. The proctor will read the directions and ask for clarification. I will read the directions from the screen, which explains Activity 2. This activity is called picture completion. By adding lines to the incomplete figures on this and the next page, you can sketch some interesting objects or pictures. Again, try to think of some picture or object that no one else will think of. Try to make it tell as complete and as interesting a story as you can by adding to and building up your first idea. Make up an interesting title for each of your drawings and write it at the bottom of each block next to the number of the figure. The students will begin Activity 2 and close their booklets when finished. This section is untimed. Do not move on until all testers have completed Activity 2. Activity 3 is a timed activity and is the last part of the Torrance test. The students will all turn to page 6. The proctor will read the directions as seen on the screen and ask for clarification. I will read the directions on the screen now. This activity is called lines. In 10 minutes, see how many objects or pictures you can make from the pairs of straight lines below and on the next 2 pages. The pairs of straight lines should be the main part of whatever you make. With a pencil, add lines to the pairs of lines to complete your picture. You can place marks between the lines, on the lines, and outside the lines, wherever you want in order to make your picture. Try to think of things that no one else will think of. Make as many different pictures or objects as you can, and put as many ideas as you can in each one. Make them tell as complete and as interesting a story as you can. Add names or titles in the space provided. There are 30 sets of lines to work with, but the students do not need to do all 30. Once you tell them to begin, time 10 minutes. They are to finish as many as they can within 10 minutes. After you call time, have them close their test booklets. Students may then be released or escorted back to class after Activity 3 has been stopped at the 10-minute mark. Once testing is complete, this is the process for returning Torrance test booklets to the Coordinator for Gifted Education. The GAT liaison will collect the test booklets and verify the information on the cover page. The GAT liaison will then email the Coordinator for Gifted Education to inform that testing is completed. Following the closing of the Torrance testing window, the coordinator will come to the campus to collect the test booklets the week of November 3rd through 7th, 2025. The coordinator will ship the Torrance tests out for professional scoring. It takes about a month to receive scores via email. The coordinator will upload the score report into TINET, or PowerSchool Special Programs, for each nominee and inform the GAT liaison via email that scores have arrived. The score report that you see on the left side of your screen is 1 page long. It will be annotated at the bottom to show the number we need to look at and whether that number is indicative of a high achiever or a gifted student. In this example, the score that's highlighted is 120, which is the Creativity Index for age, meaning it's compared to other students nationwide of the same age. This is why they ask for age on the cover page. This correlates to our new Gifted Identification Matrix, as we will see on the next slide. The Gifted Identification Matrix is a new tool that we will begin using in the 25-26 school year. This tool is very helpful and makes it a lot easier to decide if a student is a high achiever or could actually be a gifted student. The snip of the matrix on the screen shows that a high achiever scores 1% up to 109% on the Torrance for the Creativity Index for age. The prior example showed a score of 120, indicating a score in the gifted range. You would type in the score on the form and check off the box in the gifted column. This is how the matrix will work for all pieces which comprise a case study. Thank you for your time and attention during this short training. If you have questions or need help related to Torrance testing, please reach out to the Coordinator for Gifted Education. The coordinator's contact information is on the screen.